Hello everyone. So we can start now. So welcome to the demo session on SAP ABAP on Cloud RAP training. So this training is applicable for both on-premise and on-cloud development, which is a guideline from SAP for doing all the development in S/4HANA, whether it's a cloud or on-premise. So earlier we had a ABAP programming model for Fury, which was the guideline for doing the development of the applications in S4 HANA. So it was basically Fury based application, and then now we have RAP, RESTful API programming model, which is the recommended approach for doing any kind of application development, whether it's a transactional application or analytical application or read-only application. All the development which which is supposed to be basically carried out in S4 HANA has to be part of the RAP framework. So why this RAP needed? Why? What about the existing development? All those things, and apart from that, how about the migrations of the objects to the S4 HANA? All we are going to discuss. So this training, why we are focusing on cloud, because the way of development, what we do in on-premise and on cloud is going to be remain same. The reason is if any customer or client, they want to move to S4 HANA cloud after some time, they don't need to redo all the implementations. So earlier, how we approach was in ECC world, the GUI was the front end. And then after that, we had Fury came into picture. Then it is recommended to go and access the application via Fury. So for that, BOPF based model came into picture. Then it is a very difficult for customers if they want to adopt, go for a cloud or the new technologies in ABAP, they need to redo all the development of ECC into S4 HANA. So SAP come up with a concept where one development can be used as it is on the on-premise as well as on cloud. So the motivation behind RAP is single development which can be used as it is on-premise as well as on cloud. So in this training, we have both options. The same development what we are going to do as a part of training, we can do in the on-premise as well as on cloud. But I'll recommend to use the cloud system. You are going to get a on-premise system access also, but I will recommend to use the ABAP on cloud or the cloud system, because on cloud is always on the latest stack, and there are few new developments always comes in the cloud, which I'm going to also cover as a part of training, so that you will get an idea about what's new happening in the RAP world also. Because on-premise systems getting released, everyone getting released once in a year, but cloud systems, it released every quarter. So every quarter, you are going to see some new features automatically available in your system. And ABAP on Cloud, I'll be helping you to raise the access of the cloud system through BTP. So we'll discuss about what BTP is. We'll go and have overview of BTP, and then we'll see the different services available on the BTP side. And in BTP, there are two tracks for application development. One is your RAP, and another one is your CAP. Okay. So CAPM, Cloud Application Programming Model, is something which is on the open source side. So always there is a confusion what we should learn in the BTP. Should we go for CAP or should we go for RAP? So if you are from the ABAP background, or if you are interested to do the application development in ABAP, as you know, most of the applications ERP applications, transactions already built use in the your ABAP using ABAP, right? So it is easier to do the development in the system via wrap track. And if you're from the open source side, Java, CSS, JavaScripts, all those things, if you want to use to develop the application, then we have CAPM, Cloud Application Programming Model, which is basically for the people who are on the open source side. Because BTP is a platform where we can onboard, or SAP should give it basically the flexibility of using the different programming language and develop your application as a non SAP consultants, non SAP technical person. So that flexibility SAP has also given, and that comes under your CAP. Okay. So in today's training, we are going to cover. Basically, I'll give you a short introduction of evolution of ABAP programming, and then why RAP is important, and what we are going to learn in RAP, basically the course content, and your any queries, your doubt that we are going to discuss. Okay, so let me start with the very basic things about how the evolution of ABAP programming is basically happening. Okay. And then I will take you to the systems details. Okay. And all your queries and all, we will discuss in detail about it. Okay. So if we talk about the evolution of, so I'm not going to follow any basically slide. Okay. For our training purposes, there are 3-4 slides which you can see on my screen. Is just for architecture, understanding about sort and information about ABAP on cloud, and any notes. I'll be using this PPT to write it down, and I'll share this PowerPoint presentation on the Google Drive with everyone on the daily basis. Okay, and this training is going to be 100% hands-on, so that we can learn the concept by doing the application development. Okay, on evolution of ABAP. Okay. So here, so very first thing which we are familiar about the system is classical ABAP programming. Okay. So the very first stage is classical ABAP programming. Basically, my intention is to give you understanding why we should go and upgrade ourselves for the RAP. So classical ABAP programming. Okay. So here, just a short introduction. I'll not go much in depth about these things because some of you might know about this. But yeah, let's have some sufficient information to get us started with our uh, training. So here, the GUI based application. Okay, GUI based application. So when we say application or T codes, okay, basically was the for the front end, or for doing the accessing the system via users or developers. We used to have a GUI, and this is the era where the classical programming model came into picture. And to be more precise about the versions, we have, this was basically available from, if you are recommended way, if you are basically less than um, 7.4 version of ABAP stack, then this is a recommended way of doing the application development. Okay. After that, the next era where there's a demand of accessing the application or via your enrich front end source. Okay, enrich front end source, and there's a demand of digitalization that we should have access the application from your mobile phone or your web browser directly without installing the GUI or tablets with a better user experience. And then we had a from 7.5 onwards, we had ABAP programming model for Fury. So I believe some of you might have done the application development using the ABAP programming model for Fury. How many of you have done the application development using the ABAP programming model for Fury? Or if you have done any kind of application development, please let me know what was your experience or what you find the difference between the ABAP programming model for Fury or classical ABAP programming. Anyone, any idea what difference between the ABAP programming model for Fury and classical ABAP programming model? Okay, so we have 7.5. Okay, so anyone any idea like what what was the if you've done the application development? Yes, no, anything is fine. I mean, I'll explain in detail, but I just wanted to make the session interactive. So please let me know. You have worked ABAP programming model for Fury. What was your experience?
So Fury development required UI5 and then OData services in the backend. That's the basic difference, and it runs on the browser. So in Fury Launchpad, as opposed to SAP GUI. Development point of view, we had done Eclipse, then now Web ID, and now BTP BAS came in, and then yeah, there's some we evolved to that extent. Using Fury elements also, we were able to smart elements, smart controls, things like that.
Mm, great. Yeah. So, right. So with S/4HANA, basically, the Fury comes as a front end, and we use couple of combinations using the to develop the application. So one is your UI5 application, and one is the Fury. Okay. So when we say difference between the Fury and UI5, the UI5 is a programming which we write to generate the Fury applications. So primarily we used CSS, HTML, or something called MVC architecture, Model View Controller. Using that, we developed that is a freehand uh, Fury applications, which is built using the UI5. Another one is something called ABAP, Fury Elements, which is basically annotation which we can go and add into the ABAP preamble into the CDS and do the entire application development without knowing the UI5. We can do the application development where we can design the page, then how to navigation, pop-ups, screen designing, everything we can do via most of the things as a standard approach. We can go and we can do it via Fury. So now with SAP intention is to introduce or enrich the Fury elements as much as possible so that as a front end or as a back end developer, we can go and we can control the application development or the screen via Fury elements itself. So the main elements which was used as a part of ABAP programming model of Fury was CDS plus BOPF framework. So CDS was used to basically develop the read-only applications, analytical applications, and if we want to do some kind of CRUD operation, create, update, delete, or we want to add some custom button, then press of button, some things should happen. Then where the transactional things comes into picture, then BOF was the framework. So BOF stands for Business Object Processing Framework. So basically, it stands for Business Object Processing Framework. So when we say framework means it provides the flexibility where or hooks where we can go and plug in our logic to basically, let's say, behind the create, what should happen, or we should call some BAPI or any kind of screen validation, or when the user enters some value on the screen, based on that, I want to determine some other values, or I want to basically do some kind of screen validations, determinations, and then after that, we have actions, some adding some custom buttons, then on press of that some logic should execute. So for entire thing, this BOP framework provided a placeholder or hook, because it's a framework which will basically we need to follow the steps, and then or not steps, basically we need to integrate this into our application development. And then this was basically the main technology behind the ABAP programming model for Fury. So if you are going to get some time, maybe you can also just check in Google ABAP programming model for Fury. For that, we have a help documentation. Yeah. So I always prefer to learn via help documentation. So you can see, right, ABAP programming model for Fury. So we have here what we have is, so we are having our SAP HANA as the backend database. And then at the web side, we have a web development, the CDS, and the framework. Okay. Application framework, like our BOPF, Business Object Processing Framework. So this we majorly use. And then we go and do the application exposure to the UI5 via gateway. We need a gateway because we cannot connect backend directly with the front end. So we should have a gateway systems. So for gateway, OData is one of the approach to work with the gateway system. Okay. So maybe I'll just show you some about yeah, you can see, right, BOPF about I was talking about business objects. So those things are there which we used to have it. So this is something very starting from 2015 onwards or 7.5 or greater version. Okay. So if you go a little bit down, so now you see this product version is out of mainstream maintenance because now we don't SAP don't encourage to do the ABAP programming model for Fury. However, uh, any issues or some patches which already the customer is, because most of the customers they have developed using the ABAP programming model for Fury. If SAP has to provide some kind of update, then they provide the update uh, via the different releases. But this is not applicable for the for your cloud. Okay. Now, if you go to the product matrix, also you will see more information. So basically, ABAP programming model was the approach where we have done most of the application development into the S4 HANA systems because it supports the Fury based programming. Okay, so let's access the matrix. So, and apart from that, the next is your RAP, RESTful ABAP programming model. And if we go to this product here, Okay. So here, this is a new product where we are going to talk about it, or the framework where we will be doing the application development here. Okay. So here the we don't have the BOF, but the similar concept in the BOF, like working on determination, validations, then working on the business objects, all those things are available into the RESTful API programming model. Okay. So basically, in short, RAP is the architecture for efficient end-to-end development of SAP HANA optimized OData services in ABAP and cloud environment. Okay. So it is going to support both on-premise as well as on cloud here. Okay. So this is what I was just talking into my slide: classical ABAP programming model, then ABAP programming model for Fury. Okay. And then we have the new one is your RAP, which is the basically the present guideline. This present guides you give the detailed. Okay, basically this is a required guideline for doing all the application development. Whether you are on premise or on cloud, we should go and do the application development into the RAP world. Okay, so this is going to valid. Okay, if you are on the cloud private edition, and then you are on the S4 HANA. Okay, on premise. So wherever you see simple S4 HANA, it means it is talking about on premise. And then if it is cloud, it will be clearly mentioned about the cloud. So this is just um, one pager where you can go, you can get the idea about programming model for Fury. RESTful API programming model for Fury. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll go and so discuss about more on the topics what we have to cover, what we're going to cover it. Okay. So yeah, so the next guideline, if you are above 7.5, then we have RAP. So all the development which we are going to do as a part in S4HANA, the RESTful full API programming model, RAP. So any kind of application development we are going to do in S4HANA, it has to go and it has to be basically channelized through, or it has to be developed through RAP. It's a framework. So we have to learn how to implement this framework. So there are different scenarios in the RAP application development, depend on the requirement. So we are going to cover all the scenarios with different approach. Okay. Or maybe I'll just write it here. Just okay. So scenario, just to give you a short understanding, like what we are going to learn. So in RAP, broadly, we have two scenarios. One is your managed scenario, and one is your unmanaged. Okay, one is your managed scenario. I'll explain in detail in our regular session, just giving a very short overview. So managed scenario, it is for greenfield development, where you don't have legacy code legacy code to use. It means In the ABAP, we have like BAPIs are available. Let's say I want to create some sales order, just example. So we can use the BAPI to create a sales order. Means we have something provided by SAP, which we can go and we can use it. Okay. Then uh, any kind of standard function module are there, which we want to use it for handling create, update, delete, or BAPIs. We can go for, I mean, if it is available, then those things are legacy code, basically, which we can reuse the standard. But uh, another scenario where, let's say, I am developing a complete new application, my own custom database tables, my own logic is there. Obviously, within that logic, I can call some function modules, that is fine, but all create, update, read, delete is happening directly on the custom tables. We know, right? For custom tables, we don't have any BAPIs provided by the standard. We have to redesign or rewrite the code to handle the CRUD and all. So for those type of scenario where you have to basically do all develop using all the custom approach, you are not updating any standard tables, let's say during create, update, delete, then we go with the managed scenario. Second scenario is something called unmanaged. So in there's another scenario called unmanaged. So means this is for implementation where we can go and use the legacy code. So legacy code is available where we can go. I want to, as a developer, I want to handle or control the create, update, delete operations. Then in that case, we use unmanaged. I'll come to more detail, but just I'm giving you a very short overview. Then within this two, within the manage, we have two more, the sub branch of this, okay, which is introduced later after this product came. This is a something which come newly, not newly, I mean, newly in the compared to the product, basically the wrap. So this is something which introduced later in the wrap, which we'll talk about. One is your manage with additional save and manage manage with unmanage save. Okay. So all four. So in order to understand what is manage, unmanage, manage with additional save, manage with unmanaged save, in what kind of requirement we used to choose which approach, all we are going to learn via hands-on. So basically, we'll create four different applications to understand what are the difference between these four, when to use what. If you're going to get some requirement from the business, then how you are going to decide which scenario we have to pick. The very beautiful full part about the wrap is, even it's a standard or custom development which is done by some developer, everything is going to follow the same route. Okay. So whenever you open any standard application or custom application which you have not built, you will be very easily understand, or you can easily understand which why which type of scenario is used for that application development. Basically, see, RAP is a framework. So in order to build application, we have to follow the steps of the framework. So it is standard across the standard way of doing the development across all custom applications or standard application delivered by SAP. So this is a good part about the RAP. Apart from that, we have CDS, right? So CDS is also now new flavor called CDS entity, which we are not going, which we are going to use as a part of your development. So for doing all those developments, CDS is going to be a base. Okay. So CDS has two flavors, which we have used earlier was View. Now we have something called entity. So CDS views are old, absolute. We are not supposed to use any of the CDS views to create, basically. All now SAP has introduced a CDS entity after introduction to the RAP. Any new enhancement, a new feature will be not rolled out by SAP to the CDS view. Everything will be rolled out to the CDS entity. Then, what is CDS entity? What is CDS view? Maybe some of you might not have extensively worked on CDS views. So, what is CDS views? What is CDS entity? What is difference between CDS view and CDS entity? Then, how to migrate the older CDS view to CDS entity? What's new feature functionality supported in CDS entity, as all we are going to learn as a part of our training. This is going to the base of starting our RAP development. So we'll focus on what's new in CDS entity, what was CDS view, how to create it, how to migrate it, and why we should go for CDS entity. All those things we'll do learn in our hands-on session. Okay, so this is just to give you a short overview. And in continuation to the ABAP Cloud, so basically in 2012, yeah, so we are going to use Eclipse based tool for our hands-on. Okay, I'll let you know what tools you need to install and the BTP account creation that we will do tomorrow to create account in the BTP, then understand about the BTP. Okay, so we need in 2012, SAP started shifting its focus from GUI-based application or GUI-based editor to Eclipse, which is basically available in the HANA Studio as a product. And then in that, what we had is they have introduced the concept of ABAP objects, writing the ABAP units. Very, very important aspects nowadays. Any application which you're going to develop you have to write the ABAP units or a unit, and we have to make sure in some company it is 70%, in some companies it is 80% criteria. If you don't do that, you cannot release your task. Okay, then in 2015 the S/4HANA product launched. Okay, and then it supports the backend as SAP HANA database, Fury, and then it started support for cloud and the key user extensibility. Then in the extensions there are two part. One is your in-app extension. Okay, and one is side-by-side extension. So that comes under your key user extensibility that we'll discuss later. Then internally, see, this is a take-it slide. So internally, in 2017 era, SAP has started evolving. So what I was talking about is basically the evolution of ABAP Cloud, which started long back, but finally from 2022, this got stabilized and used for available for custom developments also and released to the outside world for doing all the application development. So we'll go in much detail about BTP and CDS views and all in our regular classes. Let me quickly give you an overview what we are going to cover. Okay, so sorry I mentioned about 30 plus I'm getting a message that the connection is also not stable. Okay. So yeah, I'll try to continue here. If it disconnected, then I will continue to join from the phone. So let me know if you can at least hear me clear or not. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah, audible.
Okay, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so yeah, so I was talking about the content. So we'll start with BTP. We'll go and do the onboarding on the BTP side and create our ABAP instance. So basically, I'll help you to install the tools required and the configuration for your system to start working on the development. And on the BTP, we are going to focus on the ABAP on cloud instance. This will help us to basically make our system working Okay. So I have joined through the phone. Yeah, I'll try to share screen from the laptop. Okay. So basically, yeah, so we'll start with onboarding our access to the BTP. And here we'll go and uh, see more in detail about the ABAP on cloud instance under the BTP, and we'll have a short introduction on the BTP, that what options are available in the BTP which you can do as a SAP consultant, not as a ABAP consultant, but a lot of things are there about which we can go and just try in our free time to get understanding where SAP is heading towards. Okay, so I'll be then unit 2 onwards, which is tomorrow will be session 1. Then we'll start in session 2, where we'll start with our DIDIC. So it will take just 15 to 20 minutes to explain about dictionary. Because some of you might not have created domains, tables, because now tables have annotations. When we work with our table creation in Eclipse, we need to know about annotations. So that is the reason I wanted to cover data dictionary also, structures, tables, and then loading the data. So earlier we used to write a program in SE38 where we go write the logic to basically update some, load some data if we want to do. Then we have the programming way of doing it. But now we don't have GUI anymore. You cannot write executable codes in SE38. So we have the class based approach where we have a something called console where we can go and execute the output. So this is just to basically give you understanding about how to write or test some logics in case if you're on the cloud. For on premise, SE38 is remain same, but in cloud where you will be writing the logic, how you will test it, because generally when you write a program you execute, you see a GUI based screen. In the GUI based screen we have uh, we can see the output whether the we can write some write statement to know whether the program executed successfully or not. But in cloud you will not have SE38. Then how you are going to basically execute or test your logic? So this will give you a basic idea about it. So once our DDIC will be ready, we'll go and we'll start on the CDS. So CDS will go in depth introduction to CDS view as well as CDS entity. Why do we use CDS view? Okay, implementation of couple of CDS views. Then how to create a service using the CDS, basically the OData, and I'll cover more on the migrations of the CDS to CDS entity. What are the new functions and features are available under the CDS entity that we are going to cover as a part of Unit 3. So because CDS is a base, whether you are going to work on the application development using BOPF, or let's say you're going to work for some support project. So support project, you might see some applications are developed on the BOF, okay, or they're using the old CDS views. Then how you will get a task to migrate those CDS view to CDS entity, or so all those things will help you to whatever we are going to learn as a part of the CDS will help you to understand the legacy CDS view, what's new in the CDS view, and how to do the migration of existing CDS to the new CDS that we are going to cover. So once we have good understanding on the CDS, the next part will come for the RAP. Okay, so we'll go with the some basic RAP architecture to explain, because across all standard apps delivered by SAP, or if you see any custom app developed into your existing projects, new team, the way of development will remain same. Okay, so that we are going to cover it. So once we cover that part, yeah. So with the CDS, the RAP-based application development will be common. So you will be able to understand. You'll be able to understand all the application developments across standard or custom. That is the beauty of RAP. So we'll go with some history of ABAP of cloud. Then what is the RAP? Then the architecture. Architecture is important to understand, because we are going to follow the same approach in standard or custom. So this will give you architecture is very helpful basically to do the application development. We cannot deviate basically, in short, anything which is given in the architecture. So maybe I'll just give you a quick overview. Uh, okay, I think architecture slide I have not added it. This is just a roadmap. Sorry, the ABAP Cloud map. But architecture is something where you will see the similar options, where we have a HANA database, implementation language, ABAP, and then CDS view, modeling business object. We are going to use our RAP model here, and then service provider. We are going to consume it for raising some events, or use as a web API, or for analytics, or then for Fury. All those things we'll see, but in architecture, we'll go and we'll see some more difference, okay, more depth about the development perspective, like what is called business objects, then where to use something called creating a business services. Then apart from that, we are going to work on different concepts in the RAP. All those things we will cover in architecture in detail. So that we'll see as a part of our unit 4. Then we will work on different type of scenarios, manage, unmanage. Apart from that, I have discussed about the two more, that is manage with additional save and manage with unmanaged save. This we are also going to cover by creating a different application. Okay, and we'll define all those scenarios. I'll We'll go with the context. What kind of application development we are going to do? End-to-end application development, including deployment to the Fury. All those things we are going to learn as a part of our training. Then we are going to create a Fury application where we are going to work on OData services, Fury elements. Then we'll discuss about freestyle coding versus Fury element coding. Then for deploying the application, two options are there. Either we use Web IDE, or we use BAS, Business Application Studio. So we are going to cover BAS, because BAS is a recommended guideline to do all the application deployment into the Fury. Okay, so we'll use BAS as the tool. So we'll use Eclipse. We will use BAS as a tool for our doing the development. Then we are going to create a list report application, or we can say the read-only application. We using different UI annotations, adding search capability, adding metadata extensions, adding object model annotations. So couple of things we are going to use it here. Then the next part will come where we are going to work on the making the application to the transactional. Means till now we'll be developing the basic read-only application with some navigation option. But I want to do some kind of create, update, delete. How we will perform those operations? For that, we need something called behavior, because we have to introduce the behavior in the application of create, update, read, delete. So we'll use this behavior definition concept, and where we learned like concept of classes. We implement this behavior definition via class based approach. And see, it's actually very easy. Maybe a lot of terminology is new, but if you have already done the application development into the ABAP, the core ABAP, you will find it out. It is very very easy, very very structured. And the beauty is immediately you can see the UIs, you can see the changes, test it. It's very very beautiful actually. And since it's a framework oriented, so you will see a very very uh, a good user experience, developer experience, compared to what we have done in the GUI based applications. Okay, so to implement uh, so any feature which we add in the app, whether it's adding custom button, whether adding the feature of create, update, delete, or you want to do some screen validation, you want to do determination of some values, we have something called side effects. Everything comes under definition. So once you define the behavior of your definition, you need to write the implementation. So for that, we have a different classes. Framework will generate some class, and within those class, we need to go and write the logic. And in order to write all the logic, we cannot use the simple SQL. We have a something called EML, Entity Manipulation Language, because everything here we are going to develop as a CDS entity. Your so entity could be business, could be sales order, purchase order item, sales order item, anything, the business object you can consider here. So how to deal with that? How to read whatever the value user has entered in the Fury? How you are going to read in the back end? Or from the back end you are writing some logic you want to display in the front end. So all those read, create, update, delete. So in order to implement it, we need to have a EMLs, manipulation language, that we are going to learn why the EML needed, what are the syntaxes, different uses of EML, that we are going to learn from scratch, and then we are going to write the EMLs into our application. Uh, so this flow will give you a very good understanding, like how overall RAP framework works, how it updates your records, how it read the record from the front end, how the modify operation of takes place. Everything we will be covering through EML, and it is very very easy, not difficult. Okay, so since it's a framework, we are learning new things. So you might see all new terminology, but I will go in that pace so that everybody can pick it up. Okay. So you don't worry about it. And that okay. A lot of things. Then how will that is why it's 40 hours of training, right? We are not going to learn everything in one day. So we are going to have a training 1 day, 1 hour in weekdays, and every day we will cover new topic, so that when we do the application development end to end, all these topics will be covered into your application. So it's not like we are learning some individual topics and then we'll see. So we'll develop end to end applications. In those applications we will implement these concepts, so that we will see at least from the application perspective where these implementations, where this terminology will be used. Okay, so small thing like making the field mandatory, making the field read only, adding the validation, screen validations, then use different type of actions. We have something called actions means, see, let's say you have some buttons. Okay, on press of button something should happen. Another is where user will not interact, but system will internally trigger some action. So those actions we call it at here, like instance action, static action, factory actions, non-factory actions. Okay. Then we have internal actions. All those we are going to cover it as a part of actions. It's a big topic. It will take at least 3 to 4 days to work on all different scenarios of accept actions only. Then we are going to see there's something called reusability concept. Let's say you have built one base. Out of that base development you have two different applications, but they're using same underlying concepts, but the different persona. One is, let's say you are going to log in, let's say library application. So you're going to log in to the library application as an administrator. So you're going to access the same database table of your library books or student database tables, and you're going to basically use same data modeling, but as the administrator you have some additional privilege, some additional buttons. So like you can edit, you can add book, you can delete book. But when you log in as a student, you what you can do is you can search for a book, you can request for reissue of a book, you okay. But as a student you cannot delete the book from the library application. But when the admin will access, they will log into the application, they will access the same table where books information are there, but they can add or remove the book. So basically what I'm trying to say, you will have base will be same, let's say base tables are same, but with different features and functionality. So that we call it as persona, where we can reuse the same development for different application. So for that we have something called manage processor app, and another one is your one is processor app. Basically you can uh, process the your any application in a different way. And another one is your where you can go and you have some different I just a second, I think I mentioned somewhere here. Yeah, one is your developer persona, okay, and one is your processor persona. So basically, as a developer, let's say, or for example, I'm logging to some travel app. So travel app, let's say as one persona one, I can go, I can request for travel, but I cannot accept or reject the travel. But when I log in as an administrator, different persona, which is persona 2, I can go accept and reject the travel. Apart from that, I can raise a request for my travel. But as so all those different persona, we are going to cover it to understand how you can build two different application, three different application from the same source. How you will redesign those things. That is where this persona will come into picture. That I'll explain in detail. And apart from that, we have a yeah, we have different action which I was talking about, like, and then we have a static and dynamic feature control validations, then we have determinations, then we have draft, very important feature. So draft is something where it works as an offline mode. For example, you are creating a sales order, but you don't know while creating a sales order, you don't know about the vendor information, which will come in let's say 2 days. But as a user, you have entered some details, and but vendor details is not available. You are asking your colleague, and he's saying you will get it in 2 days. So if you create in your GUI based application, but if you don't have some information which is mandatory, you cannot create a sales order. The the moment you come out of system, your changes will be lost because sales order is not created, because let's say some mandatory fields are values are not known to you. But in case of draft based application feature, where your data, as soon as you type, your data will be saved into a draft. And if you're awaiting some information and you are going to get after a few times, or let's say you logged out or power cut, something happened, so data will be not lost, it will be stored into a draft table. As soon as you again come to your application, you will see your all draft data, and then you can start your making changes as an end user. So this is a feature which is requested by business in all of most of the application. They want draft feature because it's a very useful feature for any application. See, just feel the pain point. You are filling some application form, you don't know some details. So if you are getting option to save it as a draft, then it is very useful because next time you can go and resume your work from there. Similar way, draft works into the wrap or into the BOF. But here we are talking about wrap. So we'll see how the wrap applications works. Then we have another scenario I was talking about here. So we have processor scenario and we have approver scenario. So where we'll see what how to design a persona for approvers, where the same application development but with two different persona. One is approver persona and one is a processor persona. So this is also end-to-end development we will do to understand how to design a Fury app for the approvers and all. So all those things we'll see here. Then another new concept is there, which is custom entity. Let's say you don't have a database table, because CDS you built on database table, and then that CDS model is used to expose to OData services, and then you show it to the Fury app. But let's say your data is not coming from database, it is coming from some custom logic, and that custom logic might be calling RFCFM or some file based interface. Data is coming from there, and you don't have to store into the table. Then how you will create your application, because CDS wrap, it requires database table. But what about your data is not coming from some database, or it is coming from some calculation or coming on fly? Then where you will write the logic? So for that, custom entity come into picture. So we'll go in detail and discuss about why custom entity, where to use it. Okay. All those end-to-end application of custom entity using one complete application we'll see as a part of training. Then another concept is writing a side effects. It was earlier UI concept, but now it is available in the ABAP. So write the side effects. Basically, it is as soon as, let's say, you are changing some value on the screen, immediately some value, some field should be hidden, or some field should be enabled, disable, some field should become mandatory automatically without pressing anywhere. As soon as you change the value of one field, other fields should get affected. So there, in this scenario, we use side effects. Good feature. We'll see like how to use it, and then finally we'll develop around 4 to 5 application in our training. Then how to deploy it use to the BTP or to the UI5 repository. That deployment we'll see via Business Application Studio in our training. So this is the last part. So entirely, apart from that, I'll cover the events in the RAP. Okay, that I have not mentioned it here, but that will be a part of your application development only. So like that, we are going to progress in our course, and it will take around 40 hours of training. And training will be Monday to Friday India time, and if you're in the Central time, then it is Tuesday to Saturday. Okay, basically the same time. What we you see the training the same time, 1 hour daily, and I'll be sharing the recording you are going to get in your emails to download post the session, and then you are going to get system access for on premise. On cloud, I will be helping you to raise tomorrow, but I'll recommend to use on cloud. And I need a Eclipse tool, which I'll also helping you to install tomorrow. I mean, everything we'll do together. No need to worry about it. And yeah, so, and the session slide and some documents which is available, I'll be sharing on the Google Drive, so that you can always take a reference from there. So that's all which I wanted to cover to give you understanding what we are going to cover and all. Now, please feel free to unmute yourself. Let me know any question, any doubt that we will discuss now.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm audible.
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is like I'm very new to SAP and I want to learn ABAP and BTP to become a techno-functional consultant. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, does this course cover the basics or should I start with something else?
Okay, so you are new to ABAP, right?
Yeah.
So, because you might get, see, it is possibility that the project where you are going to work, it might
Mm-hmm.
needs a core ABAP things like RISEF, report, interface. We have smart forms, then we have conversions. All those things are there. So that is a part of core ABAP, which is also needed for you. But coming to this course is completely different from the core ABAP. It's a new area of ABAP. Eventually, when you go for interviews and all, for to onboard to any project, they will look for RAP for sure, uh, along with the core ABAP knowledge. So my recommendation would be you go parallelly with the core ABAP concepts. For that, I can help
Mm-hmm.
you with the resources, because it is available in market from last 30 to 40 years. ABAP core ABAP. So a lot of trainings are available, which is available in the free domain. I can share you the links. You can go with the those complete course for the core ABAP. But you want if and yeah for the this one the new way of doing the ABAP development, which is completely different from the old ABAP, which I'm going to cover it. So my recommendation is if you have some time, you go with parallel ABAP, core ABAP concepts parallelly, and then this RAP training is also needed because any project, most of the projects are on S4 HANA or they are migrating to S4 HANA, so they definitely need a RAP. And core ABAP is something which you can also cover. Maybe if you give 1 hour time daily separately, then you can also cover the core ABAP, where I can help you to uh, give you the learning resource, hands-on resource, so that it will give you the concept. You will get the concepts of core ABAP. And this one, the RAP side, I can cover it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, how much are we covering about BTP
Okay.
right now?
So BTP we are going to cover from the ABAP perspective, or from the overview of. I will be going to give you the overview where the different aspects of BTP we are going to cover it up, because BTP is something where non-SAP people can also use it. So it's a platform where you have around 64 services is available. Out of that, we are going to use three services, basically primarily focused for the ABAP technical consultants. Apart from that, in the overview, I'll give you the different learning resources. For example, you want to work on SAP Build, which is a no-code, low-code platform from SAP. You want to work on SAP Analytics Cloud. You want to work on mobile APIs. You want to work on different meshing. You want to work on integration. So those are covered. Those are the part of BTP for which I will give you the overview. But our focus will be on the ABAP related technical things in the BTP.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is different between on-premise and public cloud development?
Okay. So when we say on premise, it is going to be okay. Anyway, I have to cover it tomorrow in detail about on premise and on cloud, but let me give you short understanding on it. So when we say on premise means like our system will be managed at the customer place, means we are going to have a dedicated server, dedicated system, dedicated extensions. We can enhance the standard application in our own way, like how we do in our traditional ECC world. You can those flexibility we will have in the on premise, but when it goes to the public cloud, then in the cloud there are three flavors: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. But in case of public cloud, what you have asked, so public cloud is something which is used as a shared resource, because it is going to be cheaper from the private edition. Means you cannot do more, you cannot do the modifications in the system. What you need to do is you cannot deviate from the standard. So the concept what SAP has brought public cloud is fit to standard. So whatever the customization you have done in your custom applications or in your other system, that you cannot do in the public cloud. So there you need to see, because for every process they have given the standard way of doing it. So you have to customize your application or your system to fit to the standard. So those are cheaper. Those because those are the shared resource, the public cloud. So whatever the standard process for any industry, let's say you are from oil and gas, banking, insurance, for everything there's a standard process is there to run the business. So you need to customize configuration or change your business process to fit to the standard process of SAP. So there's a no chance of doing the customization as per your need into the system. You have to fit to the standard. But if you're opting for the private cloud, so private cloud you will give, because it will give you a feature where you can go and you can basically do the customization according to your need, and it is costlier than the public cloud. So in short, you can say public cloud is something which is a concept of fit to standard. So you have to, when you are onboarding to the public cloud, you have to make sure or SAP will help you to basically see what process you have deviated from standard, where you have done the customization. All those they will help you to guide when you go and onboard or you follow the public cloud. So that major difference comes in terms of control of the system. So it will be not with us. So that is what where the public cloud come into picture. So it is
So
as
that,
it is as good as your drive, right? Microsoft Drive,
yeah,
Google Drive, yeah.
mm. That means public cloud does not allow to add the custom program, right?
Custom program, yes.
Ah, okay. Only allowed to customizing configuration to
Configurations, yes. So
yeah.
everything is handled over there. Configurations.
How about the user exit body?
Okay, so we have something called there's a custom field and logic app. Okay, so for example, Baddie or user exit, what it does, it is going to provide some enhancement where you can add some fields or maybe along with the standard you can write your logic. So so in Fury, everything is as application. For example, let's say create material master. So that is also an application where you want to basically do some enhancement. So in the Fury. So for each application, SAP has provided something called extensibility. And that you can go and do the extension via something called CFL. That app shortcut is Custom Field and Logic app. So using that app, they have provided the baddie within that application. Step by step informations are there. So that is called Custom Field and Logic app.
For Android design now.
So here, what you can do is you can go. I mean, this is something this is the recommended approach where we can create our own fields enhancement implementation to customize the application and their UI. Everything you can go and you customize it. So for each application, so we have Fury app library. So each application which you want to customize, for that SAP has provided the extensions, and using that in that extensions are nothing but it is integrated to custom field and logic app. I mean, it is a different way like what we have done in our existing system. So for example, just I'm opening some application. So all the applications we have implementations, and the extensibility options are provided. So we can go and we can leverage this extensibility where we can go and do the extensions over there. So we don't have a concept of user exits anymore, and yeah, bodies are there, but that is again available through this application called Custom Field and Logic app. That is called CFL. I'll show you that enhancement, like how we do the some enhancements using CFL. In our on-premise system, we have some access to the Fury. So there, at least I can show you like what are the different enhancement options are available. And for on-premise, your baddie, all those are remain valid. Implementation of directly baddies or implementation of your user exits, those are still valid in on-premise. But however, the recommendation is like rather than user exit, first go with the custom field and logic app and do the enhancement. So a lot of blogs are there for time being. Quickly, if you want to see, just type in Google implement custom field and logic app for some specific application name you can give, and you will see SAP has provided some standard ways to, I mean, the steps like how you can find it out and do the enhancement. So that is big. Basically, it becomes more easier to do the enhancement in the S4HANA world compared to what we have done in ECC.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any question, anything, any doubts, let me know. And this training will be again, we'll have session one tomorrow, and there we'll have some basics on the BTP, and then we'll go and we'll get the access of ABAP instance in the BTP, configure the system, basically the onboarding side that we'll do tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, our object creations, I mean, in the system level, we'll go and we'll start working on the coding part. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So yeah, let's connect tomorrow, and then we'll continue.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey Kamal, can class be started at 9:30 EST instead of 7:30?
Sorry, actually, for me, I have to. So I'm based out of India, right? So for me, it's like morning 6 o'clock here, and post that I have my office also to go. So this is a time which just suits me, and from last couple of 12 years, I'm doing the same time, considering the people are from a different time zone. But yeah, for me, like extend going before this will be too early for me. Almost it's a 4 o'clock in the morning, which is difficult for me because
No, I'm asking like 8 a.m. your time. Is it difficult?
8 a.m. will be difficult, right? Because sorry, my bad, yeah. Because I need to go to the office here. So generally in India, I start around 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 around, so that our office starts 9 o'clock, and now offices are open. So we have to go 5 days in a week. So that is also one challenge.
Okay then, yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining the demo session. So tomorrow we'll continue from session 1.
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.